Hey True Seekers, it's Nathaniel with another deck profile. Today I will be covering Simon, Holy Spirit, and Hope. Start off with, Simon's a True Seeker, says once per turn, you may reveal an Animo from your hand and search your deck for any previous growth stages of that Animo and shuffle your deck afterwards. So we use Simon to basically reveal our level 2s or level 3s, and we search for the growth stage that came before it, which is extremely helpful because this deck runs a decent amount of growth stages. Now, it has 2 Holy Spirit power, so combine that with Simon, it only has 3, and you only really need to have 1 Holy Spirit power, so I like to have at least 2 in play when I'm making my plays. I have a large dedication to Hope, because Hope shuffles their power cards a lot back, so I like to see them. And I have 1 Prayer, simply because I do have some Love Animo in here that sometimes I want to activate, so that way I can get them out of my small group. Alright, so that's it for my power cards. Move this guy over here along with the power cards and move on to our equipment. I have 3 Paul's Chains. Paul's Chain says the animal to whom this card is attached cannot be activated and can be discarded at any time during your setup phase. Once per turn, as long as this card is attached to an Animo in your small group, you may search your deck for up to 2 level 1 Animo and place them in your small group. And now if there's no room in your small group, you can't use that card. Then I have 2 gold, because I run some Hope Animo that required me to shuffle my power cards back, and sometimes I don't want to do that. And I have 1 Scarlet Cord, which says the animal to whom this card is attached may be either returned to your hand or discarded from your small group at any time during your setup phase. If you choose to discard it, you may search your deck for any Animo with an equal or lesser value point and place it in your hand. This card must be discarded once the action is used. Moving on to our stories, I have 2 Bible Study Spirit, which allows me to search my deck for 1 Holy Spirit Animo. 2 Shake and Breaks, which lets me return 2 level 1 Animo excluding Altar from my discard pile to my hand. This is helpful because I do run like a lot of Fellowship bonuses, and so I'm able to get back 2 Animo that have different Fellowship bonuses. And then finally, I have Paused Maws and Giant Killer. So Paused Maws says place this card in your active Cine spot or next to it if it's occupied by another card, and no opponent may reveal a Cine to you on their next turn. At the beginning of your next turn, remove this card, as well as other copies of Paused Maws in your hand, deck, and discard pile from the game. So basically it just stops my opponent from playing Cine on me for 1 turn, and I have to get rid of it and all other copies, so I only run 1. And Giant Killer says, choose one of the following. You can search your deck for a Mega Cine and reveal it to an opponent, if they're not already facing a Cine, or you can if you're facing Mega Cine, you can return it to the owner and have them shuffle back into their deck. It's very helpful. Next up, I have 1 Merkei, which says, as long as this Cine is active, your opponent may draw no more than 2 cards during their draw phase, regardless of their hand size. He can slow down an opponent's roll. I've Hookworm. As long as this Cine is active, all your opponent's Animo require 1 extra universal cost in order to be activated. Both these cards are, if they're timed well, they can really slow down your opponent. We have Grasshopper. Grasshopper says, when played, your opponent must reveal their hand, select 1 card, and have them shuffle back in their deck. This guy is pretty rude and very helpful in most cases. Zapper King is one of the 5 Animo with the effects that I actually think are very useful in the game, because it actually says your opponent may not play any level 1 Animo from their hand to their small group next turn. Have Venomoth, which says as long as this Cine is active, your opponent's Animo may not be activated in the same turn that they are added to or grown in their small group. Venomoth Mega has the action that says your opponent may not activate any level 1 Animo on their turn. Lurkai Mega says select an Animo in your opponent's small group, flip it over, and as long as the Cine is active, that Animo may not be interacted with in any way. Due to the fact that there's Potpourris out right now, I have rarely gotten to use this effect. And then, because of Potpourris, instead of going with the Mega Fear Crow Plus, I've gone with Toll Crow Mega Plus, which has a 21 defense. So rather than, having the 18 defense, I just went with the bigger defense Cine. Going forward, I have 2 Hoofits, so that way I can shuffle cards that are in my discard pile back into my deck. I have 1 Potpourris for myself, so that way I can stop the actions of my opponent's Cines from affecting me. I have 2 Servidudes, which has the ability that once per turn you can draw a card for each Faith, Hope, and Holy Spirit Animo in your small group. And since this is a Holy Spirit and Hope deck, he kind of sits in the small group and just continuously draws me cards. My final love Animo is going to be Flow Ultra. Flow Ultra has the swap ability. It says you may discard this card from your small group. If you do, search your deck for any 3 Animo, reveal them, and place them in your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. Combining this with Simon's ability to already search, it has been extremely helpful in maintaining a balance of grabbing cards that I need. So what I'll do is I'll use Flow Ultra to grab me the level 3, along with some other cards that I need. I'll use Simon to go grab me the level 2, and then I'll use Paul's Chains to grab me the level 1, so that way I can get all the pieces in the same turn. Alright, next we have 2 Schwimmer. Schwimmer we like to use in decks that use Hope because he has the ability to just go grab a standard power card and plays directly your power pool as an action. But in this deck, he actually gets to use his Fellowship bonus. So he actually becomes a 1 for 5 in this deck, which is very helpful. Next up, we have 2 Squibble. Squibble just becomes a 1 for 6 with his Fellowship bonus. We have 2 Hightail, which serves as our continuous drawing power. This has Retreat 1. It says if this card's in your hand, you may choose to reveal it to your opponent and shuffle it back in your deck. If you do, draw 3 cards. Then we're going to get into Dependeru. So we got Dependeru level 1. He shuffles back the power card. We're mostly using him so that way we can get to Dependeru level 2. So Dependeru level 2 is a 1 for 9 for level 2, or because you're shuffling and you have to shuffle back the power card, but also has that 12 Fellowship bonus. And I wanted to build this deck so that way I can maximize Dependeru by using the level 3, because quite frankly, I don't like the level 3 as much as I like the level 2. But the level 3 says ability once per turn. As long as this card's in your small group, you may choose to shuffle a card from your hand back in your deck. If you do, draw 1 card. So the purpose is we will actually use Dependeru level 3 to reveal it with Simon's effect to go grab our level 2. And if I don't have the Fellowship bonus, I might go ahead and grow him so that way I can just get the 1 for 9, which is good value. However, if I can afford to lose the power card and I have a Fellowship bonus, I'll just use him and get that 12 for 1 instead. And I'll just discard this Dependeru. So the Dependeru level 3 is basically like a card I use to search with Simon to get to the level 2, but it doesn't have to be. And because we decided to build this deck around Dependeru, we decided to use Dependeru Ultra, who's a level 1 and is a 1 for 8, but I have to shuffle back that power card. And I actually did this was a Bible verse challenge card, and we ended up, just as a short side note, we requested less Dependerus than what we actually needed, and I ended up having 2 additional kids who did the Bible verse challenge that didn't get Dependeru, so I gave them mine and Carolyn's copies of Dependeru, and then we ended up ordering another one so that way we can actually put it in our binder. But this was also a song, the Bible verse. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. And I sing that with Levi sometimes. So Dependeru has a special place in my heart. Next up, we're going to cover our Holy Spirit Animo. We got Lily. Lily has an action that says search your deck for any faith, hope, or love Animo. Place it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. Lily is helpful because Lily enables me to just grab whatever level 1 I need. Then we have Phos. Phos, he's a 1 for 5 with the Fellowship bonus. I enjoy Phos because I get to just... Basically, I'll pay 2, so I'll use Swimmer and Phos in the same turn. I'll get 5, or use Squibble and get 11 for 2. It's good value. And because it's a Hope deck with Holy Spirit, we like to use Gut Piece from Cross Trainers. Its ability says when this card is played from your hand in your small group, you can search your deck for any Faith, Hope, Animo, and Faith or Hope Animo, and you add it to your hand. So this is really cool because you just play him, go grab a card, and usually a 1 for 2 is not great value, so we would try to basically get rid of him or just activate him on a turn where we don't have a big play. But now, since Red Letter Day, he has a level 2, which ability says when this card is played from your hand, grow 1 Gut Piece level 1, and you may reshuffle your hand to your deck and draw 6 cards. So Gut Piece level 2 has been very helpful, being a 2 for 8 value, and so getting that fellowship bonus with my other Hope Animo in here. But it also allows me to basically draw a handful of cards equal to basically me taking another turn. So that's been very helpful. Next ones I got are Manti level 1 from Cross Trainer, and he grows into Manti level 2. And Manti level 2 has the action to search your deck for a power card and place it directly into your power pool, shuffle your deck afterwards. He's very helpful because he enables me to just go grab my power cards. I'll combine him with Schwimmer. I like using him because as long as I have 2 power cards, since Simon's already covers the Holy Spirit cost, I can just use him to go grab another power card. And I prefer that you have the ability to search power cards with a card that matches your True Seeker type because you already have that power available. And then finally, we have Todoken Ultra. And Todoken Ultra has the... he's just a 2 for 10, so he's just good value. That's all he's in here for, is just being good value. Along with... So I have Flow Ultra, Dependeru Ultra, and Todoken Ultra as my Ultras. And I'm going to go ahead and take a moment to set up the Animo that I'm going to show you how I use them in a combo or one of the best plays of the deck. Alright, so one of the best plays of the deck is when I get all these power cards set up. Todoken, I'll have Manti, I'll have 2 Dependerus. And I will activate 1 Dependeru, shuffle power card back. Second Dependeru, shuffle power card back. Activate Manti, get a power card back. And then activate Todoken Ultra. So this right here, that's 20, 30, 42 points in a single turn. I'm going to bring this video to a close, and in the meantime, True Seekers, keep learning virtues and defeating sinnies.